This is part of your World Business Today as we turn now to Andrew Schmertz, my colleague in New York, for this and a whole lot more. Andrew, good afternoon. Let's get started digesting two pieces of news. Tensions between China and U.S. and the threatening sanctions another week without stimulus. Where are we? What's the latest on this?
Yeah, there's a few issues pushing the markets lower today. The first, as we mentioned, is this new renewed fight between China and the United States. The U.S. is considering sanctions on China for China's crackdown of pro-democracy forces in Hong Kong. That issue has been bubbling to the surface for a couple of years now, and the Trump administration apparently is ready to act. Wall Street doesn't like sanctions, so they're a little nervous about that. We'll see where that goes. The announcement hasn't been made yet, but those are the reports. The other issue, of course, is COVID-19. It continues to surge throughout the country. And this weekend, we got several more lockdowns, specifically in Southern and Northern California, which has instituted the most severe lockdown since the spring. In New York, a threat of lockdowns if the positivity rate reaches 5% or higher. So some concerns there as well will impede, obviously, progress on the economy. To that point, there's really no news regarding the stimulus plan. We got a flurry of news last week. We thought that a deal could happen this weekend or early this week, but all seems to be quiet. This weekend, Democratic House leaders did say they would accept the bipartisan Senate version of a deal, which puts stimulus money at about $908 billion. That deal was sort of rejected by Mitch McConnell. He may be softening a little bit, though. He says that a deal is close to being done. That's what Nancy Pelosi said, all of that last week. Today, pretty much silence from Congress. He's
losing momentum. I told you on Friday there's no deal yet, because there's no deal until there's a deal. But let's talk about the markets. Analysts are predicting a record 2021 for new stock issues. Where would this be coming from?
Yeah, analysts expect $130 billion in new IPOs and SPAC deals. A SPAC is a special purpose acquisition company. These used to be known as reverse mergers, and they were kind of the seedy side of Wall Street, but they have taken new prominence as some very big SPAC deals are being put together. It's an alternative way of going public, and it's attracting a whole bunch of new companies. Companies that are expecting to use SPACs next year: SpaceX, Stripe, that's the payment service, Waymo, that's the autonomous car company, and Instacart. These deals are valued in the billions of dollars, and combined with IPOs, it could give a record year for new issues in 2021. And that's surprising because we've had a whole bunch of deals in 2020. When you think the economy is falling apart, these deals are getting done and people are investing in them. And so next year, there may be additional pent-up demand from some companies waiting to go public until 2021 when the economy looks good.
So will Airbnb be part of these new issues with IPO target range, the company looking at about $42 billion in net worth?
Yeah, Airbnb is becoming a whole lot more expensive. The company, which is planning to go public by the end of this month, now has priced its IPO range between $56 and $62 a share. That makes the company on the top range of that number worth $42 billion. Put that in perspective. In April, when Airbnb did a private stock sale, it was valued at just $18 billion. So it has basically tripled in value over the past 6 months at a time when the company has been profitable in only one quarter so far, and at a time where nobody is traveling, so nobody is booking any apartments and houses. That could change next year. Maybe the pent-up demand, that phrase again, could spur Airbnb bookings. But this is a very big valuation for a company that has not been routinely profitable.
Interesting. But if we tie that a little bit with the record home sales for 2020, African-American millennials helped fuel those numbers. How much did black home ownership rise within the period under review?
Yeah, African-American millennials, the ages between 25 and 40, have made up the bulk of black purchases of new homes in 2020. 5% of new homeowners were black millennials. That number is surprisingly high. It's believed that's because millennials in general are earning more money in the past. Plus the fact that many have been home, generally working from home. They may be eager for a new home, for a better home. So that has propelled millennial black home ownership higher and black home ownership higher across the board. We are seeing pretty healthy homeowner sales overall for the market, and this trend seems to continue. It's also being driven by lower interest rates. And they say communities fighting housing discrimination. You know, it's still going on, but maybe it was a little bit less last year or this year. We still are in 2020. Can't get rid of 2020 fast enough. And that might continue through 2021.
Okay, let's wrap it up on these iconic songs of Bob Dylan. Who's buying them? What are they planning to do with them? And if you can give me an idea, how much is it really worth?
Yeah, 600 songs over 6 decades. That makes up Bob Dylan's music library. He sold the entire catalog to Universal Music. They didn't put a price tag on it, but Universal Music says it is the biggest music deal in history. The songs include all of his hits, Blowing in the Wind, Like a Rolling Stone, Times They Are Changing. Dylan, who is from Duluth, Minnesota, by the way, and became famous in the Greenwich Village music scene, had some 6,000 of his songs made by hundreds of different artists, and he's sold, get this, over a 6-decade career, 125 million records.
Amazing. Amazing. Quite iconic. I understand
Amazing.
that. Thank you so much, Andrew. Have a great day on Wall Street. And let's get back tomorrow, Tuesday, to continue from here. Thank you so much. Bye for now.